There are growing concerns across the world about what the Iranian conflict could mean for oil prices and the global economy more broadly. For more on the economic impact of the war in Iran, joining us now is Justin Wolfers, Professor of Economics at the University of Michigan. Thank you so much for joining us again. Good to speak to you. Now, as Mel just mentioned, Qatar's energy minister has warned that all oil and gas exporters in the Gulf could stop production within days. The minister saying that the price could soar much further if ships are unable to proceed through the crucial Strait of Hormuz. What could be the flow-on impacts of that?
So there's two channels to think about. One, you could think Middle East, Iran, oil is everything I care about. Then that would suggest the impacts depend on how oil dependent your country is. Australia depends on foreign oil. Bad news. And so, therefore, what that means is for the typical Aussie, once you've paid your petrol and the other oil-associated bills, there's going to be less money left in the wallet at the end of the week. And that's going to be an economic shock right there. Secondly, there's a whole bunch of stuff you want to think of outside of oil. The point is, this is a war. A war fundamentally rewires everything. Everything's up for grabs. What is America's place in the global trading system going to be? What does security look like in the future? Write down a list of all the things that could go right. Write down a list of all the things that could go wrong, and you'll discover one of those lists is a lot larger than the other. There's a lot more things that could go wrong, and there's a lot of things to be worried about right now. What
are the things that could go wrong? What are some things on that list?
Well, I remember back to the Iraq War, different war, one letter different. Donald Rumsfeld famously said at the beginning of that, this war could take 6 days or 6 weeks, but I doubt 6 months. And ultimately it took more than 6 years. That means the ultimate duration of that war was more than 365 times larger than Rumsfeld, himself an expert, had suggested at the time. So think about whatever you're thinking about could happen in Iran and think about some just modest scenarios and then multiply that by 365 and realize that's a possibility. Every time you look at wars in the past, there's been dramatic underestimates of the likely costs of the war. We've seen this over and over again. Name a war and I'll show you an optimist.
What are the regions or the countries that are most exposed here to the impacts of on the global economy of this war?
Yeah, so at the moment, if you're thinking about the oil channel, then it's going to be those that are oil importers, which includes Australia. So the United States, where I am right now, actually exports about as much oil as it imports. So what that means is while some people will lose money, mums and dads, when they fill up their petrol tanks, others will gain money, all the folks in Alaska and Texas around the oil fields, and that'll, on average, just zero out. That's not true for Australia because there's not a whole lot of oil fields where we're going to make money back. So that means Australia gets hurt more. More generally, Europe is already hurting more. Asia is getting hurt more. And that's why you're actually seeing financial markets in those countries moving pretty dramatically. It looks like it's a telling irony that the worst effects, the worst economic effects of a war started by the United States are going to be outside the United States, but many with its allies instead.
From Australia's perspective, what are the impacts that Australians can expect beyond the price of petrol?
The world might become a more dangerous place. We might need to, look, let me be clear with your viewers. I am not a national security expert, but what I do know is what people don't know. We don't know how this rewires anything about interactions between nations. So how secure will Australia be in the future? Will this set off a wave of terrorism, for instance? Will it shift alliances around the world? The US has decided to go it alone without its usual NATO allies. Who do we look to? We were part of a stable security bloc, basically being NATO. Are we still feeling as safe as we once were? Is the US the dear friend that we hope it is? Then think about things like trade. The president has obviously started not just wars, but trade wars. These things tend to interact with each other. You know, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney talked about the rise of the middle powers. Will Australia be part of that? If so, there's so much that could change when it comes to foreign affairs, to trade, to economics, and to our everyday lives.
Thank you so much, Justin Wolfers, for your insights on that this morning. All the best.
Pleasure.